but I think that's a very worthwhile part of the county as far as historical value. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Cromartie?
I had some occasion to be out in that area. One on the part that the Attorney Parker was talking about, serving as athletic director for some couple of different times in the school system. I was responsible for supervising a cross-country meet out there, and it's a beautiful environment for children to see. And even dating back into the 90s, there was a guy here at Wayne Community College named Ed Kelly, and he had a great interest in the park also. So I've been aware of how much a lot of folk put a lot of store by what they do out there and what they see out there. But my comment, sir, was that I know as you brought those other groups up, I thought I heard you coming to terms with whose fund balances were restricted and whose were not, and if we're treating those entities in a similar manner. If I can just editorialize just a moment, I congratulate you for bringing them all up for discussion, because restricted or not restricted fund balances sounds to me like, according to what category somebody gave them, can be put in a restricted or unrestricted, but it does not remove the fact that groups have fund balances, and they need their fund balances for various reasons. So I just want to toss that in and to congratulate you on bringing all those up, because I could feel that you were looking at the equity involved.
I was also using the word culture that you mentioned a while ago, Mr. Cromartie.
Yes, sir.
On Old Waynesboro, Goldsboro Bridge, and Wayne County Historical Society Museum.
Thank you.
Motions, any other discussion? Vote,
One of
Mr. Page.
I'm a non-voting member on that board, so I don't really have a conflict. But I do know it's a shoestring budget that they run on a month-to-month basis. And I'm not sure you're going to be able to keep one full-time employee on. Which you probably have a little bit more history on it than I do, Mr. Moore.
I would think that if the budget is cut substantially, that they would not be able to keep up in the same hours that they have now. They use volunteers as much as they can get volunteers to go out there.
They got one lady who answers the phone. And
Right, she's full.
She's the only
full-time.
one, isn't she?
Any other discussion? We understand that the original was 40, they asked for 40, it came to 35, and then we've moved it to 30, is that correct?
The motion before
That's
you
the
is for
motion.
30.
Okay.
Who has the amendment on the 30? I believe I do.
Mr. Mayo withdrew.
He withdrew it, we're going straight for 30. Any other discussion?
Okay.
All those in favor of the Old Waynesboro Commission 2013-14 budget being $30,000, raise your hand. All those opposed? It's,
How many, can we do it
It's a
again?
closed vote.
I voted against.
30,000?
So it's 4-3, it's 30,000.
It's 30,000. Got it. Okay.
No.
You guys have got to keep
Did you vote?
up there.
I did not.
Well, that's four.
So you voted to keep it 35,000. Okay, so it's 4-3, and it would stay at 35,000.
Okay.
Right.
Stay at 35.
Okay. Just trying to understand. Okay.
Okay, it's defeated, 4-3. Stays at 35,000.
Stays at 35.
Okay, Goldsboro Bridge battlefield, $10,000. Any discussion?
Wait a minute, clerk has clarity.
Mr. Goddard's motion was 30,000.
Yes, ma'am.
He withdrew it, right? Did you withdraw?
Okay, wait a second, wait, I can help you. Let's back up. Okay, the original was 40, then it went to 35, and then it went to 30, and it went back to 35, and then the amendment was drawn, it went to 30. And what we did is we drew,
No, actually, it was 35. I made the motion for 30.
Withdrew 35. And so now we're back at 30.
That's correct. And we voted on that, and That
So you,
failed.
it
That was
failed,
defeated.
so if it failed, my understanding is that that would be 35,000 as submitted.
I don't think that's.
Okay.
I think we'd have to have a motion.
I think you have to have a motion for 35 if you're going to
That's
give them
correct.
anything
Okay,
at
all
all.
right.
Okay, is there a motion? What is the motion that yes, sir, Mr. Acott?
I move that we set the budget at 35.
All right, Mr. Kamari sets at 35. Any discussion? All those in favor of 35, raise your hand.
Unanimous. Look,
Well, I'm confused.
Steve, you make sure you report that one.
Finally, finally.
I mean, okay, Goldsboro Bridge Battlefield, 10,000.
Mr. Chairman, I move acceptance of the $10,000 to the Goldsboro Bridge Battlefield.
Any discussion? I agree. Most of everything that they do out there is volunteers. No one gets paid. I guess they do it for the love of the heart, and I'll give everyone $1 if you'll tell me where it is. Except you, Wayne, I know you know where it is.
It's on Old Mount Olive Highway,
Rat Pass Road.
just past the railroad track.
Which side?
Left going
On
out.
the left side, across from the old shingle plant.
Yeah, you know.
Celotex in that
All right,
area.
you know.
You owe me $1.
Okay, but there was it's $10,000. Any discussion on that? All those in favor, raise your hand. All those opposed? Good. The Wayne County Historical Society Museum, $15,000. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the $15,000 to the Wayne County Historical Society.
The motion on the floor is that we approve $15,000 for the Wayne County Historical Society Museum. Any discussion? I'd like to amend a motion, please. I'd like to amend a motion that we increase that 15,000 to 20,000. And the reason being is that, if you allow me, we had a building to burn down here in Wayne County that had so much in it that it was so important that we saved what we could and remount it where it is today. And there was so much care that was taken to get it right. There are a group of people who are doing all they can at the old USO building, in this building, to make sure all the archives are, all of the items are listed and laid up in the archives and protected. And they need funds to make it happen. And they have asked that 15,000 is really what they would like. They would like more. They do have a fund balance of $548,000, but the $548,000, Mrs. Holt, is what?
Mainly capital. They owe 100, little over 100 that was cash. Cash is 105,000, of which 18,800 is in the endowment fund. The rest is your capital net of depreciation, 748,000.
They have hired a person to don't know what the title would be. Curator, I don't know.
Curator, I think.
They hire a curator, but I'm just asking that they be given an additional $5,000. It would be used very wisely.
Question.
Mr. Pate?
Is it that young gentleman we met when we were down there that day? So talking about-
Yes, sir.
The one that's-
It's Mr.
Got his-
Pardon.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Parkins.
Seemed like he really knew what he was doing.
Who used to volunteer at Waynesboro before.
He did.
So, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, we're going to vote on your amendment?
But no,
Mr. Dodd, are there any other
Yes.
discussions?
yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayo.
Ms. Holt, did you say, what is their fund balance? They got cash of $105,000, right?
Yes, sir.
How much is that as encumbered?
Is it, of the 105, about 18,800 is a cash for an endowment fund. So cash that's not part of the endowment fund is about 86,500.
Okay. All right.
If something would happen to this building, you would lose all of the history in this campus. I just don't know how else to put it. It's not protected, it's open. We need it, we need the investment. I'm just advocating, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Mr. Aycock?
Yes, when we went over, a couple of months ago for lunch, that's the first time I'd ever been in that building. I was impressed. There is a lot of history in that building, and I got to agree with Mr. King, is this, that we need to preserve it. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I have one other question, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Aycock?
That's a compliment.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Mayo, I'm sorry.
Okay. How much is the city funding on this?
I don't have that information.
Does anybody have that?
Is it, do they show that on any of that they report to us? I don't think so.
You can pull it off.
Yeah, we could look and see in the detail on the back, maybe.
$33,500 for 2000. 33,500.
Okay.
Was that this past year?
That is this past year.
Mr. Chairman.
I think
Yeah, she's still looking.
I think they're reporting on a calendar year basis instead of a fiscal year, because they're reporting January through December. We probably better look at that a little more. That could be,
That sounds high.
they've got us at 30. The reason I'm questioning it is they got the county only at 37.
I'm telling you, that sounds high. I think that's the case that they're
Maybe
doing
got 2 years.
calendar versus fits, because that, I don't think they fund it that level.
Mr. Daughtery?
I was just asking for the
Okay.
question.
Any discussion? Let's vote on the amendment then. With all those in favor of Wayne County Historical Society Museum being moved up to 20,000 instead of 15, please raise your hand. All those opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you. Go ahead and vote on the motion, if it's appropriate. All those in favor of the motion of the $20,000 being allocated to the Historical Society Museum, raise your hand. It's unanimous. Thank you. And thank you, my fellow commissioners. Wayne County Development Association is next, Mr. Smith.
There were no changes recommended.
The Wayne
At
County
the work session.
Development WCDA.
I don't think I had any.
Yeah, it's on there.
No.
It is an outside agents.
But I didn't have it on this sheet, so, okay. But there were no changes recommended. During discussion last week, there were no changes.
There was three other outside agencies that we were going to speak about: Wayne County Development Alliance, WISH, and the Arts Council.
I wish we kept the same.
The Wayne County Development Association is $413,699. The fund balance is $1,144,000. Cash on hand is $687,000.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Daughtery?
Ms. Holt, you're going to have to kind of enlighten me here. And looking through their budget of expenditures, I understand the salaries and so forth. That's page 167. But when you flip over to 168, it has a WCDA appropriation of $70,750. Now, what is that?
Okay, there's two different ways that we fund WCDA. One is we pay for their employees are on our payroll and they're a part of our budget.
Okay.
The other, the other 70,000 is funds that we give them that they manage themselves.
That they manage themselves.
Yes.
It's not part of our budget.
And-
It's an appropriation.
And what do they do with that?
Marketing, travel, things that the county could not necessarily do. And it's because I'm also treasurer WC, the development lines.
But I thought the private side of that also paid for that.
They pay for some of that, but on the private side is restricted because part of the Impact Wayne, when the monies were raised for specific reasons. Now, you've got municipal dollars that can help with marketing, but they actually sold those to those members for specific things. And that's part of what we got to honor as part of that fundraising event.
So the 70,000 is more or less our appropriation to them to operate on
Yes.
the public side. Then the private side also puts it in.
They put in some dollars for certain, they'll help with product development, they help with some of the marketing events that we could not pay for, that type of thing.
Thank you.
Sure.
Sir. Mr. Mayor?
Yes, to address Mr. Daughtery's, if you look at the packet that we have, that it says where the asset sheet is for the Wayne County Development Alliance. That is not a true statement there. This is what I've been advocating, and we're in the process of doing, is that the Impact Wayne funds is a totally separate issue from the WCDA. It works in conjunction with, but yet, the regular checking account, special accounts, First Citizens, the 40, most of that total current assets on this sheet are Impact Wayne investments, okay? So that $1,147,000 is bogus as far as the county is concerned. This is what the Impact Wayne investors have given. And what I've been trying to do is to make sure that the actual budget of the WCDA is what the county is responsible for. That the Impact Wayne is separate because it's given by. It needs to be. Okay, we're doing that internally. Now, how this financial statement here, assets, got into this packet, that has nothing to do with the WCDA. And that's where people are getting a false reading as to the financial position of the WCDA. The Impact Wayne, when it was started, what, in 06 or 07?
Yes.
I was involved in the original setup, and it was set up to work in conjunction with the WCDA, not to take its place. So if we have, if we like, let's say $500,000 or something like that, just for talking purposes, and getting an industry to move into Wayne County because the county, let's say, can come up with enough incentives, then Impact Wayne can take their money if they want to and make it happen, okay?
That's a good explanation, I appreciate it.
So Joanna and the WCDA is in the process of making sure that whenever it comes to before commissioners, we know what it is because we're on the board. But a lot of commissioners don't, and elected officials, because you're not. And we're doing our best to try to get that separated so you can see what the actual monies are.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Just to follow up on that, and I'm sure it got lost in the shuffle with all the other things we've asked you to do, but I did ask for a breakout of that $70,750 and how it's.
Yeah, and I don't, did they send anything over? Did she send that 70 over? So I assume they did it Friday, so that's my fault. I thought they'd send it over Friday, so they're supposed to send it over, but.
Let's ask her to have that done, please.
Okay. I thought they had done it.
And have it done tomorrow. We should finish tomorrow, but it'd be nice to have it tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, they can pull it. I thought they had done it, but.
Any other discussions on the Wayne County Development Alliance? Was there any change? Okay. Okay, the Wish Foundation. There was a recommendation of the Wish Foundation.
She's been listening to it.
There's Joanna out there.
I think she was listening on the internet.
They all do.
Magic.
She's got it.
Magic.
She's got it. Ours is unlocked. It is now.
As we wait, let's go to the next one, please. Let's go to Wish.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir.
on the funding of Wish, I would make a motion that we approve the funding of that at $170,000.
Any discussion? Motion's on the floor to approve that. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, that's unanimous.
He's not here.
Mr. Arts Council. We'll wait for Mr. Kumar to return for that one. We'll wait.
Mr. Park, I don't think we're gonna make it tonight.
Yes, we are. This is.
No, I'm talking about something else.
Tomorrow, we'll do facilities. We've already done facilities,
Yeah.
education, schools.
Yeah, all we have is the CIP, really. The Davenport is the biggest thing, I think. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we fund the Arts Council at the amount of $25,000. And if, oh, I'm sorry, I'll leave it at that.
Motion's on the floor that we fund the Arts Council $25,000. Any discussion?
If I could, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr.
I have
Donovan.
spoken with the Arts Council, and the $421,633.97 that is set aside in the Wells Fargo investment account actually is a restricted amount for building. Their balance available is basically $15,031 in the Heritage Bank. The 421 did not indicate that on their balance sheet, but is in fact proceeds from the sale of their building on Ash Street, and they have restricted it, and are actually using some of their investments, return on investment, to actually fund some of their operations.
Any other discussion? I have one discussion. What is this for? This is what's going on.
That little lines that break out of that
That's for one
$70,000.
second. Okay. I have a question on the Arts Council, since we're there, and then we'll get back to the WCDA in just one second. Because the motion is on the floor, and we're in the discussion phase. The 448, 681, how much of that is restricted?
According to the director, that is the proceeds balance that they have left from the sale of the building on Ash Street to the city. They did use some of their funds to actually improve their current rental site. But it is their hope to add to that and actually acquire the site that they're at now. But that is restricted for their building fund. And and as she stated to me, they actually went to the community and raised those funds targeted to acquire that building. And they cannot use those funds in good faith to operate, pay operating expenses. And I wish they had indicated that on their balance sheet as building fund. It shows as an investment account, but I wish they had indicated that as restricted building fund. But that is what it is. It is what it is. It's a famous saying of mine.
If you'll bear with me, please. They have the information that was shared with us during this time. And I was I would like to amend your motion to look at this over and have the other commissioners to look this over. It's the information that we received when this presentation was made. And those figures that I've got today do not indicate what is in here. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I vote, but I have the right conscience to vote in for or against this. So I would like to ask, respectfully request, that we just table this or amend it and the table to vote on this and bring it back up and vote on it tomorrow. And give me a moment to and have the copies of all of this made and passed out, because I do know that I sat in with this presentation, and I believe you did too, when we sat in with the manager and all of his department heads, and this was brought in. And when I saw this, and of course, asking for zero and then seeing this, I just think I need to.
Mr. Chairman, I will withdraw my motion and agree to have this table till tomorrow for
Okay.
further information.
Thank
That's
you.
right.
Thank you. Tomorrow we have, it's 6:45. We've got a long day today. I know most of you, a lot of you have been in the military affairs this morning. Then Mr. Daugherty and I have been looking at schools outside the county today. And, we've got a long day, and the staff has been here. Tomorrow we will talk about the capital improvement plans and the schools. So as soon as we get through with bringing up what Joanna, thank you so much for being here and bring this information to us. So would you please come up and I guess Mr. Pate has asked this to be brought and gone over, and after we do this with a motion, we will be adjourned. Okay. Thank you.
Be glad to address any questions.
Okay. Mr. Pate.
Not really questioning a whole lot of it, I just wanted to see how
Sure.
it was broken out. But what's that B&I expenses? What is
That is existing business and industry expenses.
Oh, okay.
So that's
I got you.
a lot of Mike's program of work.
Mike, we cut that out.
Mike Haynes'
Yeah.
program of work, yes.
And the contracted services?
That, a big chunk of that is for our accounting services and our audit each year that we have done. We have two separate contracts, one for the audit and one for the accounting services.
I have no other questions myself.
I have no others.
I do it on travel, meals, and lodging, 10,000. That's almost, $800, $900 a month. That is not part of your contract, because don't you have a contract that has where
That-
you can travel and you don't fall under this 10,000?
This is for, a lot of this is for when we have client activity. When we have client activity that takes us out of the county or out of the state, or when clients come to the county and we take them to lunch or what have you. It also falls under things like conferences that we attend. We go to multiple conferences during the year and trade shows to develop leads and develop clients. We do have 4 staff, and all 4 staff do some form of travel throughout the year. It's not just limited to myself. It could be specific to a project that we actually travel to that company. I travel to see site location consultants on a regular basis, so it's a lot of all that. It's usually just almost exclusively tied back to client activity and the business of doing economic development. And
But
I like-
this is not yours.
No, I'm-
You have a separate.
And that's
account.
separate related to car. The separate for me is related to the car expenses.
And your average expense or in your contract or your vehicle and travel and
Sure,
meal and
travel
lodging,
allowance for-
I think
your line item is about what?
Right. I think it's 600 a month. I think that's about what it
Yeah,
is.
hold on. Travel allowance.
I think that's what
Six
it
or
is.
seven, yeah, it's, I mean, it's like
Something like
$600 or
that.
$700 a month,
Yeah.
yeah.
We negotiated that back several years ago.
$10,000 a year.
Yeah, we negotiated that back
Yes.
several years ago when we were formed.
4 or 5 years ago.
With the
Well,
help of
which-
with the help of HR and the county manager.
So we have about 10,000 for you as a director.
Mhm.
And then we have 10,000 here for,
Clients.
Yeah,
the
and
folks
and
in
staff.
office, Travel,
Mhm.
staff, convention, or all those kind of things,
Conferences,
clients
mhm.
and train, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
okay. Did it? Is your motion adjourned?
So move we adjourn.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks.
Thank you.
Get that out fast enough. Man, that was a quick.
Tomorrow morning, what time?
10 o'clock.